1 second. Good morning, Europe. It's Thursday the 19th. It's also known as Juneteenth Day. And this is video number 144 from me in 2025. The markets are looking very weak this morning. I don't know what is driving the weakness. But there you have it. That's the sorry state of affairs. I took a couple of speculative shorts in rather small size just to sort of get ahead. As you can see, they are losing right now. So of important news, the US markets, they're closed today. The futures market will still carry on trading naturally, but the actual stock exchange itself, the New York Stock Exchange, is closed. So this is the DAX on a 10-minute chart from Juneteenth last year. I have a feeling that this FTSE is going to probe the low end. So 30 seconds. So here we go. Just trying to find what DAX looked like on Juneteenth Day in 2023. So here we go. Markets are open. So I was in two minds whether to trade today, but I decided I'll try it anyway. Juneteenth in the DAX in 2023 looks interesting. I'll show you. So this is Juneteenth in 2023 in the DAX. Not a huge move. 80 points on a gap down. So not quite sure what I am expecting from today. So I want to show you the same holiday from the perspective of the FTSE. It's a different story altogether. Because there, Juneteenth was a trend day. This holiday has only been observed for 4 years, so I got a limited amount of data. And I would say to treat it like any European session where the US markets is closed. And here's Juneteenth in the FTSE in 2000 and so I'll put that next to it. There we go. And there you go. So let's see what we got. I personally suspect that the weakness stems from the escalation in Israel and Iran. So I'm just going to reiterate, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to make of this session, whether I'm going to be here for a while or not. It's 32 degrees in my office. Isn't that lovely? Just studying these two. Not a whole lot that I can extract from that. Let me just put here DAX, just so you know. Just wanted to show you the daily chart of the FTSE to give you the bigger perspective. And the same here. Notice the difference between the FTSE and the DAX. One would probably argue that that has something to do with the tariffs. I honestly never quite know what to make of days where the US markets are closed. It's not that there's no opportunities there. There are. You can argue that. Although I'd like to think that this kind of trading range environment that we saw in 2024, that is not an easy environment to trade in, especially after the first 2 hours. But though 2023, well, it's a little different. At least there's a trend. And then the FTSE for sure in 2024. Not so sure about 2023. So you can probably hear it on my voice. I'm quite relaxed about today. I didn't think that this was going to be a barnstorm. I may actually end up losing somewhat on this DAX position, but that's just on me. I took that trade before we started streaming. Bar number 1 in the FTSE is a first bar positive. Yeah, this could turn out to be a short session together, you and I, today. Excuse me. I'm not really interested in becoming an over-aggressive seller. And not really interested in becoming an over-aggressive buyer in the DAX either. Crikey. I don't want to take a vote or something, but you just got a sense that this is a repeat of 2024. I posted a couple of screenshots of conversations that I've had with people who have contacted me privately. I posted them because I thought they were so extreme in their vulgarity, calling me all sorts of names, accusing me of things that were hard to wrap your head around. But also screenshots from people who are asking me things that are so absurd that it is borderline hilarious if it wasn't because that these people are actually sincere. Now, I don't expect you to understand this because you are as unique as I am, and we have our own worldly view. But when people ask me or tell me, why don't you just ignore it? That doesn't come easy for me. I suspect it's because when I'm confronted with absurdity, I want to write it. I want to make it right. I want them to see the world how I see it. And right there is my mistake number one. So take the gentleman who contacts me and asks me, should I go home and trade or should I go to the library? It's probably in his mind a pretty innocent question. And I could have just gone, maybe you should go to the library. But there was another part of me that wanted to tell this young man, you kind of have to make your own decisions. And reaching out to someone of my status, and I am not some emperor sat on a pedestal, and that I'm not, answering questions like that is simply beneath me. It's not what I meant, and it has absolutely nothing to do with me having grand visions of my own presence. But I am good at what I do, and receiving a question like that was disappointing, because if I had an opportunity to ask someone that I wanted to follow and I want to admire, I don't think I would ask them if they felt that my shoelaces should be red or blue. So, for example, if I ever had an opportunity to ask Roger Federer something, or Kobe Bryant, I would ask questions of their behavior, or how do you handle fatigue? How do you go on court when all you really want to do is eat cream cakes? And I want to ask them how they handle adversity, because to me, it's the person behind that is interesting. And the other question about whether he would be able to be mentored by me and he would pay a percentage. You have to think, is this person so blind to the realities of the world that he thinks that 10% a week is not very good? You have to question, where does someone like that get their information from? Because if I could make 10% a week, it wouldn't be long before I was the richest man in the world, assuming I could find someone to take the other side as my size grew. And ironically, I have averaged more than 10% a week, because it's pretty much consistent been 40% a month. But if that was to continue in all infinity, well, I would rule the world and there would be no more money left because I would have them all. So, yes, an idiotic thought, I understand. So I want the questions that I answer are questions like, can you describe, your morning routine? How do you handle adversity when you're so disappointed in yourself? Those are the questions that I resonate with. Technical questions, I usually just refer them to my resource channel where I post most of my material. In fact, I would say I'd post all of my material. And then at times it just gets too much. At times you just get that sense of, what's the word, exasperation. It's like, come on. And it often comes when I myself am tired, or I've just spent all morning, 2-3 hours answering questions at the expense of my own research. And then there's the guy that calls me all sorts of weird names and accuses me of holding back information. I posted that. I think any person with just a pinch of common sense will look at that going, wow, that man needs to be committed to an institution, because he's clearly not able to function in society if that's how he communicates with his fellow man. I'm pretty good at what I do. My strength doesn't come necessarily from technical prowess like the likes of Al Brooks and Rose. These are the trades that I executed yesterday when I didn't stream in the US. They're not big bets, but they're very profitable bets. And the irony is that in spite of making about 16,000 pounds, I don't congratulate myself. Okay, that was a good entry, I like it. But why did you get out there? You had no reason to get out there. So a trade like this, to me, feeds as ammunition to my progress. That trade here had left to run. Let me show you. See this? It's this trade down here. I was of the opinion that I wanted to be a buyer down here in this area. My fill wasn't great. But up here, I'm concerned about this top here. And this is roughly where I got out. And it was disappointing for me afterwards then to say, well, why were you so concerned about a middle top? This one was the big target. So a trade like this feeds my fire to become better at what I do. If I was trading this at a pounder point, or one lot or two lots, it has always been the same driver. Why did I feel emotionally compelled to get out there? What caused that? Well, okay, there was this high here. Okay. But the momentum was extremely strong on the 30-minute. To my credit, I flipped the switch and felt that there was better opportunity in the DAX, and I bought that twice. That's this trade here. That's this trade here. This is a phishing signal. Down here, the market makes a new low intraday. It's on a 5-minute chart. And I saw this very violent push higher. I noticed this point here. Let me get rid of. I've noticed this point here. And so I see the time I bought right there. And then my target was this old high here. When it was up here and I took profit, I wasn't thinking, wow, what a great trade. I wasn't thinking, wow, what a great trade. I thought, oh my God, is the DAX going to do the same as the Dow has just done? It's going to carry on. So there was almost a relief, a physical relief that the market then reversed all the way back down again. But trades like these, they're the ones that drives my research. And so those are the kind of inspiration that I want to provide to the public, to you, as opposed to try and figure out whether we should use one washing detergent or another, or what color shoelace. So, and when I receive questions like that, I get somewhat despondent and wondering, okay, is this even worth it? But the truth is, I really enjoy teaching. I guess I want to teach people who are as mad about it as I am, who are as mad about it as Al Brooks and Rose and Tim and Brad. And not receive abuse. Now, I discussed with some good friends what causes people on various bulletin boards to talk about me how they do. And it's an odd one, because the argument ranges from, well, he's just an affiliate of TD365, to, well, he's a scammer, and I don't know what it is. He's nowhere near as good as he says he is. How is he a spokesperson? I've never posted an affiliate link because I haven't got an affiliate arrangement with TD, CMC, IG, IC, Pepperstone. I don't have them. And I always say to people, you can trade with whoever you want to. This is not an exclusive group that belongs to people that trade with a certain broker. But I value time, and I would personally never spend so much time. Like, for example, some of the course sellers around the world. For example, Helicopter Boy. I question whether he can trade or not. He's outrageously wealthy from having sold courses. And I cringe at the YouTube videos. But it's not like I'm going to spend 2 or 3 hours on Reddit and Quora or Elite Trader going, oh yeah, he's a scammer, this, scammer, that. Because if people are attracted to his courses, good for them. If they think that they can learn something from that, great. At the end of the day, people have free will. Coming up to a school run. I know I would technically be adding to a losing trade, but I don't really care today. The school run is taking place below the overnight range. So I do this live because there's no other way I would rather do it. Because by doing it live, you are also exposing the second and the most crucial part of trading progress and trading skills, is being able to connect the dots between the knowledge that you have and what you want to achieve with that knowledge. Hence me so often referring to the famous scene in Batman Begins, the will to act. Knowledge is nothing without the will to act. I'm shorting the DAX here at 14. Sorry, 23,147. And I'm adding to my FTSE short at 8,799. It's a slow day. So school run has triggered down here below 2. I sold a little bit more once it retracted back into the range. Probably don't need a stop loss all the way up here. Anyway, what it boils down to is you're hoping that you're just trying to, that you're able to move the needle just a little bit for those who want to trade for a living. It's an honorable profession. A difficult one, no doubt. Yesterday I posted something about algorithms. There is, without a doubt, a significant segment of the trading population that believes that algorithms control the market. And I don't dispute that at all. Why wouldn't algorithms, maybe not, the word control is not the word I would use. Rather, I would use the word they contribute significantly to the volume that takes place in the market. And it's the argument that these algorithms are chasing our stop losses that I can't subscribe to. Maybe it's because of the upbringing, the trading luggage that I have with me from a time when we barely had internet to trade. But even if you then subscribe to this overtly technical way of looking at the market, order blocks, fair value gaps, liquidity hunting, etc. To me, it is an attempt to create a language that is overtly sophisticated and unnecessary, and takes attention away from something that I personally feel is more important. And that is, fine, so you have the knowledge, but can you act upon it? And what concerns me about this generation of traders coming up is that they're being influenced by elements on social media that states that all the focus is to be able to interpret what the algorithms are doing and accordingly outsmart the algorithms. And they subscribe to the argument that the algorithms is out there to try and take the retail traders' money. And so when I hear arguments like that, I really struggle to contain myself, because my arguments are based around facts. So I'll give you a fact. A retail trader may come to me and say, oh, those algorithms, they're chasing my stop loss. And then I say, first of all, that algorithm has no idea where your stop loss is, because you're trading a CFD product, and that may not even have been put in the market. So that's the first argument. The second argument is that retail traders as a whole contribute to less than 5% of the daily volume in, say, the FX market. Now let that sink in here, because the people that I have had these at times heated arguments, I'm going to say, if someone brings 5% of the volume to the market, I doubt very much that that's what the algorithm is going for. But you are forgetting an even more important thing, and that is that in order for an algorithm to place a trade, say a long position, there has to be someone on the other side. It is literally the foundation of trading. You are exchanging an idea with someone who's prepared to take the opposite viewpoint to you. You think this market is going down. They will take the opposite argument and say, I think this market is going up. And so, considering that there's 100% represents the volume and 5% of retail traders, it suffice to say that there, for every trade that an algo executes, there has to be someone, most likely another algo, on the other side of that trade. So to my mind, and I consider myself a retail trader as well, I don't even come into their consideration. That's my argument. And I feel that the real journey of trading is to focus on how can I build my trading size. I'm really good at making 20 points a day, but I can only do it in one lot. Well, then the focus shouldn't be on how to get to make 40 points a day with one lot. Your focus is going to be, well, how can I trade these 20 points a day with 100 lot? And I think that's where people think that they can outsmart, they can learn more about the chart, that there's a hidden component to the chart analysis that they are somehow missing. And that's why they devour hundreds and hundreds of hours of information provided by those who themselves are putting this kind of material out, but who don't necessarily trade live either, meaning it just becomes a hypothetical exercise to the people who are posting it, whose intentions are unclear to me, whether it's to generate YouTube ad revenues or whatever their angle is. I don't know. But my argument is not very popular, clearly, because while some of these extreme advocates of the algo argument, they will have hundreds of thousands of views on their videos. My videos of live trading, on a good day, perhaps will get me 7,000 views. I feel very strongly about that the journey we are on should be to increase the trading size, not to make more points. Don't ask me what went wrong with that FTSE trade. I have absolutely no idea. It was meant to be much bigger size. So there you go. Let's look at the past Juneteenth days. It's hard to really figure out what kind of environment we're in, isn't it? You're sort of thinking, is this 2023? Should we just let this run? I don't think that today is going to be an enormous money spinner for me. You never know. I'm going to let this run. So, ladies and gentlemen, I won't close this trade myself, but I will call it here. And I wish you a wonderful 19th of June day, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for listening to me. Look after yourself. And enjoy your US holiday. Bye-bye. Hang on, just to be clear here. Can you please manage this yourself? So if you're in doubt how to do that, well then, take your profits now. Bye-bye for now.